Welcome, everyone. We are here at the Finest Women in Real Estate, and I am so excited. We have three amazing people that are going to be able to share their wisdom in real estate. The first one that I wanted to introduce to you is Gisela Sanchez, who is a real estate agent in San Diego. We have Jonathan Preston, who is a real estate lawyer in the Temecula Valley area. And we have Laura Roeder, who is a financial representative also in the Temecula Valley area, but I'm sure you cover more than Temecula, right?
Yes,
Laura?
ma'am.
Okay. So this edition of our talk is going to be about the freedom in real estate. And Gisela, being a real estate agent in San Diego for many years, I mean, how do you look at your entire real estate career in terms of, the success and also having the freedom in life being in real estate?
Okay, it's a good question. A lot of people, they want to get their license because they want to have the freedom and not only the freedom to do work when they want to do work, but just the freedom to actually live the life that they actually want to live. And that's one of the main reasons why I got my license about 15 years ago now.
Yes.
Goes by so fast. But yeah, I really love having the freedom to be at home, raise my children, not worrying about having to go clock in and clock out. I'm also able to really create the career that I truly want to design for myself. And at the same time, I'm a woman of faith and I love to share, my faith boldly. And if that means I get to pray with my clients because they're going through a hardship and they want to receive prayer, well, then I get to do that. I'm sure if I worked at the bank or I worked somewhere else where it was very corporate, I probably wouldn't have that flexibility. And, this has just been a huge blessing, not just financially, but rewarding, where I get to meet so many amazing people, clients, and professionals like Laura and Jonathan, and of course, like you too, Marie.
Thank you. Now,
Um,
yeah, of course, in all types of businesses, there's always some challenges and issues that people need to know about it. And so when it comes to real estate, what are some of the challenges that you've dealt with, especially when it comes to, dealing with your clients, if there's any kind of legal battles or any kind of danger within the business, what are the things that you've experienced?
well, thankfully, I haven't had any legal problems. Knock on wood. I haven't had any legal problems, but I have had some really scary moments. Just to kind of give you an idea, as a business woman, we are, if you're going to be hosting an open house, which I was at this one time, I was hosting an open house and we're kind of like sitting ducks, whether we're on the phone, we're prospecting, we're still doing our business, but we're at a property who we're grabbing attention with these signs, people coming to our property, and we're gonna sometimes attract the wrong people, and that's what that actually happened to me. I was doing an open house and I had like these two creeps come by, and they thought I would be dumb enough to want to go look at their dog in their van, and of course I didn't.
Wow.
And really, I mean, and so what, it was so interesting, but I knew already that these guys were up to no good. So I just stood in the front, called my husband, which was my boyfriend at that time, to kind of come and get me, or but unfortunately he did not answer. So the only thing that I could actually do at that moment was pray, and I asked God and I said, Lord, I really need you to come and help me because these two guys are up to no good. And I could feel it. I could feel that was getting like a situation because one was upstairs, the other one was right there looking at me. And sure enough, there was a lady who told her husband to stop while they were doing a drive by, and she says, go back to that open house. And he was like, okay. They went to the open house, the two creeps left, and she told me, she says, we're not here to buy a property. I just felt it in my heart that God wanted me to stop, and now I know why. And I said, thank God that you were obedient, because you know who knows what would have happened that
Yeah.
day. So yeah, we put ourselves into, as realtors, it's a very dangerous industry. At the same time, we're showing property to people. We're, especially as women, we're the only ones looking up properties with a particular buyer who we might not really know. So we're putting ourselves in danger, but that's where we have to be smart. We have to dress right. We can't be dressing to flaunt anything, or else you're going to entice the wrong person.
Yeah. Now, Jonathan, what do you think of what she just shared with us in terms of being in a dangerous situation?
Well, unfortunately, I'm probably not the best person to comment on such a thing.
Mhm.
I can imagine having two daughters, what you've gone through, but for me to try and actually think that I know what that's like would be misleading. So I'm just thankful that it worked out well for you and that
Yeah.
those people went away.
Okay. Well, I wanted
And
to
loving, obviously.
cover the legal support that's needed for the real estate professionals, Jonathan. That's something that you are providing now to a lot of real estate professionals. What are the things that you can share to them about
Yes.
making sure that they have the legal support that they need when they enter the real estate industry?
Well, today's market is very hot, so properties are not staying on the MLS very long before receiving multiple offers. And so, one of the most common problems is that a realtor will respond to multiple offers at the same time, and in writing, no doubt, trying to increase offers. And sometimes you end up with a situation where you have one or two different offers that actually end up with a binding contract. And I've seen that happen in court where you have a seller being threatened with litigation from two different buyers. Let's say both want the property, or one decides, well, we'll just take damages since we can no longer get into this property. So knowing how to handle multiple offer situations is extremely important for a realtor. It's a common problem that they could get themselves in trouble for. And that's what lawyers are there for, to state before you put something back in writing. If you have concerns, call a lawyer, ask them, hey, I've got 4 or 5 offers. I would like to respond to these 2 or these 3. How can I do so without compromising my ability to accept the right offer? And so there's lots of ways to handle it, but the basic rule of thumb, as you can remember this, is to call up the buyer's agent and ask for additional offers. And a good buyer's agent should know that if the seller actually responds back in writing, that could, if there's multiple responses, that could create a problem. So that's one issue. Other issues that we see commonly are failure to disclose problems. That's probably like my number 2 issue, where there was a property that had a number of issues and the realtor did not really do the due diligence in inspecting it and really probing questions about the status of the property from her seller. So that's a common issue that results in often litigation. Other areas that we handle, this is before even escrow is opened, or these issues concern the 17-day period on the California Association of Realtors forms, which deal with the timeframes on when to submit repair requests. Those are common disputes that most buyers and sellers or real estate agents need to know how to handle.
Okay, so Gisela, I mean, based on what he just shared, have you had any kind of situation where you have to deal with that type of problem in the industry?
Yeah, actually, we have had problems with just multiple offers in this market. If you're working with buyers, which I think a lot of people are, because a lot of buyers are coming out of the Springs, um, we we are seeing that there are, once they put the property in the market, there's up to 20 offers on certain properties. And the crazy thing is that as a buyer's agent, when you're working with the buyer, you're thinking to yourself, okay, like, they even look at my client's offer? Number one, did the seller actually look at my client's offer? They probably did. They probably didn't. They probably did not even really look at it, but the agent might have told them something. So, this is a question that I kind of have, Jonathan, is when representing buyers, obviously there's a receipt that's on the contract that states that the seller did look at this, but they denied it. I know it would put extra work for the listing agent to go ahead and do that extra work, but is that something that we could ask them for? Because I know, as a buyer representation, we're out there hustling our butt off, really going out there and hustling for these clients of ours. And yet we don't even know if they really truly got their offer to be looked at, that's a question that I kind of have, like, what can we do to really service our clients in that, so we can make sure that their offer is at least being presented?
Yes. Do you ever find a situation where you've been requested to make multiple offers on top, so you're competing against yourself? Instead of the seller coming back and making a counter offer, you're asked make a second offer, or basically increase your numbers. And then do you find that it'd be better if the seller would just send you an actual formal counter offer?
Definitely a counter offer. And if they deny our offer, just to kind of have also, just send us the document that says your offer has been denied. I know that's an extra step for the listing agent, but as a buyer, when you're representing your clients like, well, did they even look at my offer? And we're like, yeah, they did, is what they're telling us. But, so, that's kind of like what we're seeing on the multiple listing, multiple offer part.
Okay.
And then go ahead.
Yeah, so I wanted to just, because we were covering the protecting the real estate professional on the legal side, I wanted to ask you, Gisela, also, when you have clients that are also coming in, that you finally, help them with their homes. Now, do you also somehow guide them in terms of if they need other resources like Laura, who can also provide a lot more information to help them with their financial, and also, with their family in terms of the living benefits? Am I right, Laura?
Yeah, I think so. Real estate agents are usually the biggest resource of information for their clients. If somebody's moving into an area or they're moving out, they need to ask questions. One of the biggest things that a real estate agent could, or I think should do, but that's my opinion, is talk about this asset that they just brought into their lives. How important is this asset to them? And for most people, it's the largest purchase that they will ever make. Now, they might do that several times in their lifetimes. I know it used to be, you bought a house and you stayed in it. And now people are buying, to their 50s and 60s, they're buying homes. So every time that they're taking an asset, this is a time where, okay, how do we protect your income, your asset? Do you want to leave a legacy? Do you want to continue living here? Is this your last place? These are all questions that can be asked, and then the financial professional can step in and actually help solidify the credibility of the agent. Did you pick the right place? Absolutely. Did you represent them in what they wanted? Absolutely. We can get that and get it solidified so that there's never ever a question as to whether they can stay.
Okay, so going back to you, Gisela, is that part of your process when you're dealing with your clients?
Yeah. One thing that I always love to do is when I meet with a client in person, I love to, or even via Zoom nowadays too, but I always want to find out, what is their ultimate goal? What's the vision that you have? So if they say, oh, I want to move over here, okay, that's great, but where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Ultimately, if you could just tell me what your dream is, and overall, like, what does that look like for your retirement plan? And I do that because my whole slogan since day one is always helping your dream become a reality. So I know for the most part, not everybody wants to work and work and work and work until they're 80 years old, right? So I've always been a retirement thought-minded person. That's why we always come to Mexico every now and then when we have some time, because I believe that a person needs to really look at the end goal in mind. And some people like to live in their end goal today while still having the end goal. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right.
So So the one thing that I do, Laura, I do try to find out, okay, so you want to, you want to have this, let's just say this view of the mountains. Okay, great. So what we're going to have to do is let's talk about Temecula. Let's talk about what that looks like. And now let's look at this in another way. When we close escrow, are you going to put this into a trust? Who do you have in your family? I have a lot of people that they will go ahead, sell their properties, and then they don't even have it in a trust. And then what happens after that, Jonathan? If a person does not put their home in a trust, they end up having to what?
Well, I'm not an estate planning attorney, but trusts have one major advantage that everyone should know is that they avoid probate and documents that allow individuals to transfer the property upon death without without having to disclose who the property is going to, et cetera, other than through a grant deed.
Right.
Meaning that a will is a public document that's actually published when you probate. A trust is not. It's only published if it becomes litigation, which is rare.
See.
And then to add to that, you have your trust and your probate, but you also have to look beyond that. If somebody's not there and an income has now been depleted or it's disappeared, now how do you pay those taxes? A lot of people will say, oh, well, we'll get life insurance or something like that to use to cover the expense of the home. We're going to buy the home outright. Okay, that's great. But how are they going to buy food? What about electricity? What about taxes? What about, insurance? How are we doing that? And that's something that goes beyond the purview of a real estate agent. But again, just getting people on that step can really boost up an agent's credibility, because now you've just given them a life plan.
Yeah.
Which is a fantastic thing. And a lot of times people don't even realize that they want it. So there's, just the introduction to it gives them the idea, oh, maybe I should, which is great because it might be a 10-year conversation. You just never know. Yeah. Everybody's different.
I have one burning question. So I know, Gisela, you are with eXp Realty and you have agents under you that you're also helping and training. Now, Jonathan, is it a good idea for a real estate agent or for a new real estate agent to really understand the legal part of the real estate in order for you to even start in the business? And,
yes.
And the fact that Gisela also has a very good system of bringing in other people like Laura and yourself in her process. What about the new agents? Do you think that they need to have certain understanding of the legal process?
Yes. Ask many senior real estate agents. They'll tell you that their broker usually requires a couple-year period before they actually allow their brand new agents to be completely out on their own. And so their commission structure will be reflected in a different split depending on how much experience. And the reason that is simply because of the amount of supervisor time, if you want to call that, necessary to make sure that these brand new agents are not getting themselves into trouble unknowingly, because they'll be making decisions that they think are right at the time, but it's hard to suggest that they're making a correct decision unless the broker or a senior agent is actually reviewing those decisions. And so Gazelle, that's you sponsor other, so is it a 1 to 2 year period in your firm, or how long?
For the most part, they go based on transactions. So if they've done at least 6 transactions, then they feel okay, then you're fine. We'll let you go on your own. Just know that you always could reach out to the broker. And eXp, even though we're virtual, it's so simple to get in touch with the broker. It's like easier than what it was, trying to reach them at the office in the past. But yeah, I mean, there's, as in real estate, there's just so many, every transaction is a new learning experience. And so, there's going to be ups and downs all the time. And I think an agent really needs to be connected with a good, strong team, or a broker who's going to teach them the ropes.
Yes, also, brokers need to unfortunately be more hands-on than they usually are, especially for the older agents. That is one common argument I've seen in court, where you have a broker who trusts their agent, but the agent made a mistake. And then there's a question about how much supervision was actually provided by that broker, if any, even if the broker signs off on things like the listing agreement, or signs off on the document, did they actually read them? And so it is an issue. I don't think there's a fine line, whether it's 1 year, 6 transactions, or who knows. But a broker needs to be aware of the talents and skill levels of their agents for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Because there's a lot of agents out there that, they just do business the wrong way, whether lack of education or lack of integrity.
Okay. Well, I have one last question for all of you. So I'm going to start with Laura because she is in the financial industry. So the question is, what can you share to our viewers in terms of really understanding what freedom is in real estate industry?
Freedom of choice. Freedom to be able to make your choices, but it's also the freedom of responsibility. And people are afraid of responsibility and accountability. And when you, just like my industry, Gisela's industry is all about accountability. When you jump into that, you are accountable. You're accountable for so many different things. And then you have to get government regulations. You have to be certified. You have to do this. You have so many different things that, yes, you have freedom to get up when you want and to have a cup of coffee. You don't have to be somewhere because somebody else says so, which is what everybody wants to hear about. They all want to know that. But the accountability that comes with it is just as important. And probably the biggest thing that I can say is that if you're not ready for it or you haven't been educated about it, you probably need to take a step back and educate yourself more. But the freedom of choice, what do you do now, is probably the best thing about the real estate.
Okay. And Jonathan, what about you?
Well, I've been self-employed for so many years. I forgot what it's like to work for someone. So, however, I strongly agree with Laura's sentiments on accountability. Your professional reputation is something that you really need to cherish, work on, continue to care about. And, you need to make sure that your clients respect you or your opinion. Will continue to refer to you. If you're getting most of your business, probably about, I'd say 80% of your business is usually by referral, then you're probably doing something correctly. If you're still focusing on advertising, then, unfortunately, it's costing you far more to obtain a new client than it should. That's what I do strive. I want to be self-employed. I think I was meant to be. But and in order for me to do that, I have to be accountable to my clients so they continue to like me.
And Gisela?
Well, freedom to choose, definitely. Freedom to choose even your own clients, which is huge in our industry because, as you know, we work with many different types of characters. So if there's someone that I really don't want to work with, I'm free to refer that person to another agent who I think they're going to mesh well with. And, just freedom to really to live out what I truly want to live, like I said earlier, design my workforce, what that looks like, my brand, who I am, basically my own boutique. I like to think of it that way, like who we are, how we display ourselves is that's our business. And I think it's so important because you will tell your success based on the referrals that you get. And thank God I've been in this industry now for 14, 15 years now. And most of my business is through referrals. So I don't have to, do cold calling. I don't have to do any of that. I just have to call my clients once in a while and say how they're doing and, send them information that they need, not trash. You know what I'm saying? Send them things that they absolutely need for their taxes and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a great career. Real estate really is the best place to be, in my opinion. And I think, when we have great people like all of you out there, it just makes the path even much more enjoyable to be around.
That's amazing. Now, Laura, can you please give your last words for our viewers and also how they can get hold of you if they need some more information when it comes to your business?
Last words for viewers are, if you don't plan, that's your plan. So make sure you do make a plan, and I can be reached at Roeder at TF Partners 602-5819. And I am on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Yay.
All right, great. And what about you, Jonathan?
Yeah, my one piece of advice is call the lawyer before it becomes a problem. Just to get a quick piece of advice, even if it's something that could be handled without even a letter, just a quick phone call. It's much better than having to hire an attorney to write a formal demand letter or to respond in court. It's far less expensive. And so I'm available at 951-461-2500. My website is jrplawoffice.com.
All right, Gisela.
And if you're looking into purchasing property or selling your property, and you really want to see, well, how can I get there? I will sit with you and put together a plan so that we could actually get you there and find out whether it's relocating to Texas or staying in California. We will make it happen. So that's what I do. I help dreams become a reality and help you build a legacy in your real estate portfolio. So you could reach out to me at 619-254-6066. Call me, text me. I'm here, and you can find me, of course, on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and everywhere else. Google me. So there you go.
Thank you so much, Laura, Jonathan, Gisela, for this amazing information. And for all of you out there, be sure to share this video and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch all the Finest Women in Real Estate episodes. Again, make sure that you get a hold of these people. If you have any questions, it's good to have a great resource for reaching your freedom, whether it's in real estate or not, and have an amazing week. Okay. Anyway, bye everyone. Thank you so much for everything. All right.
Bye.